welcome to this new edition of English News. Tonight as headlines we have the head of state in front of the United Nations Sustainable Development and Gender Commission. A total eclipse of the moon called supermoon black moon wonders.
We are going to start by an announcement. The President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, is participating a prominent reunion concerning Somalia. This reunion gathering IGAD chief state, according to our envoy Abdurrahman Mohammed. This meeting brings to light the progress accomplished by Somalia in the field of security, the consolidation of institutions of the country, in an overall in the international aids. The President of the Republic will take part in our AMISOM reunion is on his agenda. This AMISOM meeting was sole task in Somalia peacekeeping. It will be about the AMISOM peacekeeping role in the land of its necessity in Somalia. Yesterday, the head of state made a speech in front of United Nations Sustainable Development and Gender Commission. The head of state will make his official speech at the United Nations on Tuesday.
And concerning the speech of the head of state in front of the United Nations Sustainable Development and Gender Commission, let's listen to the President.
The Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, took part of the 70th United Nations General Assembly. The head of state has made a speech into the United Nations Development and Gender Commission. Standing in front of the Development Commission, the President of the Republic has complimented the United Nations Adoption Development Agenda known as Transforming Our World, the program for the 2030 Sustainable Development. The head of state has indicated that this program takes into account the gap and challenges observed during the implementation of the Millennium Objective Goals in many countries. The head of state has added that it is important to recognize here the tangible progress registered by the African countries, including Djibouti, in the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals. Even if the challenges still persist, he continued, good results have been observed in the field of education, maternal, child health, fight against HIV and other communicable disease. The program which I am the most proud of is the progress made in the area of food safety, thanks to the national policy and social development, doubled by the regional cooperation strategies which have helped to boost agricultural production in our country. This has indeed enabled us to reduce the extreme poverty and hunger, as well as infant mortality. The President of the Republic of Djibouti has had the great honor to be among the countries rewarded by the FAO in June 2015 for having reached this dual objective of the millennium despite the drastic climatic conditions. The President has also raised the thorny issue of climate change by indicating that states should be more committed to take into more seriously the necessity and the engagement to slow down the climate change effects. In front of the Gender Commission, President Guelleh has indicated that since 1999, the Djiboutian government has never ceased to work for the Djiboutian women, for its economic and social empowerment, for its integration in the policy and institutional environment, making its full participation in the future of the country. Through a department which is dedicated to the Djiboutian women, say the President of the Republic, we are objecting to eliminate the gap between men and women at all levels of the development progress, but also to establish a sustainable development which passes through the gender institutionalization in all sectors of activities and take into account the differentiated women and men needs in all the action of the development. As regards the fight against the violence done to women has continued, the head of state, Djibouti has a legal pack of laws to reinforce the prevention and repression acts against domestic violences, as well as it has been taken at both state and voluntary level, such as the creation of a listening unit, information and guidance, the CEIO, in 2007 within the UNFD. The family code promulgated in 2002 also include special dispositions to protect women. This instrument has indicated that when Djiboutians provide for respect and equality between men and women, early marriages and those by interest to the disadvantage of women are not allowed, whereas the legal age to enter into marriage is fixed at 18 years. When it comes to female genital mutilation, has said the President, today more than ever, the political will is at the center of the action for the total abandonment of all female circumcisions. This is illustrated by the prohibition of the latter by legislative measures accompanied by sanctions. The President of the Republic has emphasized we are continuing the mobilization of the public opinion through education and information in order to achieve the total abandonment of all form of female circumcisions.
The Prime Minister and acting leader of the government, Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, has received today in his cabinet the country director of the World Bank, Mr. Asad Alam. The latter is staying in Djibouti for a 2-day working visit. He was accompanied during his visit by the World Bank representative in Djibouti, Homa Zohra Fatouhi. The discussion were focused on the major economic issue, the situation of relation and cooperation, as well as a beautiful project financed by the World Bank in Djibouti. The two parties were pleased about the fruitful relation existing between the World Bank and the Republic of Djibouti.
A handshake marking the beginning of a long collaboration, the signature of a memorandum of understanding was held this morning at the Palace of the People between the Minister of Economy and Finances in charge of industry, Ilyas Moussedouali. An Oxford Business Group, the institution of media, is specialized in the emerging countries' economic and financial information. With this partnership, Djibouti will benefit from greater visibility. In his Vision Djibouti 2035, the country has issued a strategy quinquennial which is between the modern railway, electric and infrastructure projects. In a press conference, the Minister of Economy and Finances, Ilyas Moussedouali, spoke about the business environment and the improvement of our administrations, the reform on the governments of economy and finances, which will have legal basis. Several 6-month projects are on the way and in the post-2015 agenda of the United States, as well as the COP21 in December, which will be held in Paris, and the India-Africa Summit, where the President will be decorated for his leadership, but also for its commitments to stability and prosperity in the sub-region, transforming Djibouti into the main regional hub in terms of logistics, not only the sub-region, but also the African continent.
He said, we know the advantage Djibouti has. It's time to keep and emphasize many undertakings. In the emphasis in this intervention, there are many undertaking projects such as the Ethiopian Railway, electric train, in the ongoing construction, the port, many other infrastructure, which will begin in the beginning of this year. Our ambition is not only Ethiopia on the whole Africa, but the whole continent. The workshop of operation and procedure of the common position control of the Djibouti Addis Ababa new railway has opened this morning at Djibouti Diplomatic Study Institute. Indeed, this 3-day workshop was initiated by the Djiboutian Railway Company. During this work session, members of the Joint Committee of Djibouti Ethiopia will propose and discuss on the organization and operation of a unique position for a new rail line border post located in Dawanle. The opening ceremony co-chaired by the Djiboutian Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Ali Silai, and the Minister of Transport and Equipment, Mr. Musa Ahmed Hassan, has gathered Ethiopian and Djiboutian border organization.
The opening ceremony of the workshop has been honored by the presence of the Ethiopian ambassador in Djibouti, Mr. Suleiman Didifo. At the end of the workshop, the Director General of the Djiboutian Railway Society, Mr. Mahmoud Rawle Dabar, in an interview, said that in the framework of the construction of this new Djibouti Addis Ababa railway line, the two governments have decided to build a single checkpoint. So following this decision, it has been a big challenge, he continued, to better understand the functioning of this future joint checkpoint. For this purpose, we have requested an international expertise, and today we are in collaboration with our Turkish friends, said the director.
During this workshop, the acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Selai, and the Minister of the Transport and Equipment, Mr. Musa Ahmed Hassan, have explained and talked about the construction of this project. Let's listen to their speech.
It is a quite pleasure for me to preside over the opening of this regional workshop beside the Minister of Transport. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been present within the monitoring committee in the level of expert and ministerials. The Ministry will continue its effort in collaboration with the Ministry of Transport for the progress of this project of immense importance. Indeed, the trade facilitation has been often encountered on the paper war of border operation between the states. This reality creates a high delays in economic brief on transport performance, thus achievement the economy of countries, especially those in landlocked countries. In the framework of construction of Djibouti-Addis Ababa railway line on mutual agreement, it has been decided by the Republic of Djibouti and the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to build a single control post Galilee-Dawale border. The joint supervisory procedures will be conducted by the relevant service of the two countries on the same place in order to minimize the time to train serve at the border. The seminar on the operating control of the border at the National Working Group aims to better understand the issues of one-stop border posts and the other to help finish the precise common control procedures that will prevail in a few months at the length of the railway line operations. I am confident that the work of this seminar will be particularly facilitated by two experts from the National Society of Turkey Railway and will allow to rapidly progress in the border control procedures formulations.
After the death of the late Ismail Gueye occurred last Wednesday in Paris, the country is still continuing to honor his memory. Thus, the condolence book open to that effect at the National Assembly has not been finished. 3 days after his disappearance, Djiboutians always line up to say a word to his memory. Members of the government, the opposition, and officials of the public administration and the private sector or the average Djiboutians continue to sign it. All held the memory of a politician, but also a statesman whose disappearance has been a huge loss to the nation, as stated by the President Gueye.
The Ministry for Women Advancement and Family Planning, responsible for relation with the Parliament, has closed this morning a 2-day training workshop at the location of the Committee of Health Community for the Promotion of Family Planning at the Djibouti Sheraton Hotel. The strengthening the scale of role in community awareness of proximity has been carried out in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. The final goal intended by this training course is to sensitize the population on the importance and brief spacing and exceeding.
The workshop was facilitated by Muna Ali, Social Affairs Director. She has brought together 30 representatives from the civil society from the 3 municipalities of the capital. That was the representatives of UNFPA and the Ministry of Health, as well as the Women Department for the investment. The exchanges and discussions during the workshop have been fruitful, and the participants have admitted that this first day has served to update for their knowledge in the area of family planning. And concerning the Djiboutian pilgrims got back this Sunday in Mecca since Thursday morning, blocked between Muna, Rafat and Muzdalifa. Monday, they moved into 2 rotations in the night toward Muna, where they remained throughout the day. Each group pilgrims performed the prayers, which was reduced to 2 rak'ah. Some Djiboutians had the time for a meal early in the morning to go on Mount Arafat, who was crowded of pilgrims of all the continent. Old persons have left Muzdalifa after 12 hours, and the rest of the pilgrims had left the place after the morning prayer to return to Muna, where was planned the launch of the stones against the Satan. Temptations. Few Djiboutians pilgrims located on the place at the time of the accident have been trapped in Raj. Some were lucky to get out of the daily mail and return to Muna camp.
Some testified that other Djiboutian pilgrims were located on the place and immediately to church, for those people has been on the run, according to Mr. Assal, who is leading the research, and a few volunteering from the half of the victim of the Jamarat accident stored in Saudi's mortuary. No any victim of Djiboutian pilgrims has been identified. He announced that the research will continue in other raiding mortuary of the Saudi hospital. The Saudi authorities have announced that they will launch a fingerprint operation to recognize the victim faces. The missing number of pilgrims is 5 people until now. Here are their names: Mr. Abdullah Abdul Muhammad, Mrs. Halima Saeed Muhammad, Mrs. Muna Hamad Yusuf, Mrs. Medina Abdullah, and finally Mrs. Nim'a Ahmed Abdullah.
An awarding ceremony for school kids took place in the locality of Assajog in the region of Arta. Indeed, it was the bank, East Africa Bank, which has handed over badge of school kids to the GIA Association for the 60 school children from deprived families. This ceremony, held yesterday, has concerning mainly kids from the elementary school education. The leaders of the elementary school attended the school kids from Mission. The parents of the beneficiaries have expressed their feelings and thanked the East Africa Bank as well as the GIA Association. They do not miss to wish good luck to these kids for this school year.
Moving on the continental and international level, the Islamic Bank for the Development has signed an agreement with the West African Economic and Monetary Union